Welcome back to our doggone truth about rescue year-end wrap. I was going to say Spotify, but it wouldn't be as entertaining.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, like your Spotify wrap.
Oh, yeah, okay.
When you get
yeah.
like the music of like,
yes.
we talked about medical bills 5 times this
Yes.
year. We talked about intake 3 times this year. We talked about volunteers on every single episode for 24 hours this year.
Sure did.
Those are all fake. I don't know if that's real or not. But welcome to our end of year last episode. We have Jen in to talk about basically everything that's happened this year. That would be a very long episode.
It would.
For the millennials out there, the Spark Notes version of this year, and then what we have to look forward to for next year. So, Jen, I'm just going to let you take it away because this is why we love episodes with you, because you do most of the talking.
Yes, I can talk and talk and talk.
Basically, it's a live that you do every day, but with us here too.
It's very true. I don't even know where to start. I could start at the beginning or I can jump all over. And if anybody knows me, I tend to jump all over with my thoughts. And so what I will say that has been the very most exciting thing, and I don't think I've been a podcast since November 28th, 2023, we closed on the Osawatomie Pound. So we purchased the pound from the city, which, guys, if you were there if you're there today versus the day that we found out about just it even existing, it's such a heartwarming feeling. And there's so many things that I'm proud of with Always and Forever, but this is one that just almost takes your breath away for a moment because it is so special to know about and to have experienced firsthand the past of the pain of a situation where these animals were forgotten, where they were completely neglected, where the conditions were truly horrific, and so many people didn't know about it. And the ones that didn't know how to make it change. And it wasn't a, gunslinging battle of we're going in, it's going to change immediately. It was every single day we fought to make it better in such small steps that now every single morning I get to wake up the Red Barn and I get to go to our Osawatomie shelter, and we pulled out the old rusted kennels that were dangerous to all the animals and to our human staff there as well. And it's just special. And I always said it's not the building, but it's the love and the people inside. And so when we got in there, we made it as incredible as we could. But there still was, and Sai, you were just talking about this a few seconds ago. You feel people's energy. There is energy in everything. There truly is. In a building, in materials, in your clothes. I just think about how you feel. But when those kennels got out, it was almost like a breath of fresh air just whooshed into the pound. And so there's an open area, and we don't have our kennels yet. The new ones aren't there, but we've got some temporary ones. And thank you to all our donors that helped put up temporary kennels there. I talk with my hands. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to.
No,
but
fine, because Kingston is passed out. He is beyond exhausted from having a puppy here for the last 2 days. So he's not paying attention to your hands.
Okay, and
so
she has a deaf dog that she has taught sign language to.
Yes.
An
So
ANF
he always
alum.
watches Jen's hands.
Yeah, if my hands fly, then the dog will be doing tricks behind me. So
I wish. We're not that far, but he pays attention to them.
But it's just incredible, and to all the amazing people that kept faith in this dream. And I think that's such a special takeaway from this, that
Cut her off at any time. Do we have something good on here?
No, I'm just saying we have
time.
someone listening from Australia.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good morning.
Hi.
Go ahead, Jen.
What I'll share is, guys, nothing important and nothing phenomenal and great is instant. And we live in an instant gratification society where people want results right now. Hell, I do. Like, I love to set goals. You want to accomplish them. You want to complete them. But that's not how God works. It's not. And if faith were easy, then everybody would have faith. It's when you have to go through the mud and you have to go through the trenches and you have to fail and fail and fail. And we had to get to the point. We actually got to the point where the city was threatening to kick us out and to go back to a kill shelter. And then the tipping point, and I know I've shared this before, was the realization of, what am I putting out? What am I coming back? Am I putting anger out there? Anger's going to come right back at me. And so it was a lesson that I had to personally learn, and to learn as this rescue, to say, we have to do something different, because if we're not changing it the way that it is right now, take a step back. Let's fix it. Let's assess it. Let's try again. And now we own the pound. And it's, like I said, it's one of the most special things that we have done as a rescue. And everything is so special, because you can think about the 5,000 animals that we've saved, right? But then you think about all the people behind the scenes, all of our staff, you guys, every single story, and the thought and the photos of the ones we haven't. And it's the photos of the animals at Wichita that don't even have photos out there. It's knowing that every day 20 some dogs are being euthanized, or however many at every shelter. But that will crush you. What you focus on is gonna make you or break you. And you know bad things happen in this world, but equally good things happen in this world. And it's really taking a step back and saying, what can I control? God, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I know there's horrible things out there, but what can I do right now to make today a little bit better for the things that I can control in my environment? I had a really good friend, and she would always, she did this better. And she'd be like, so here's your circle, right? So picture you draw a circle, and she's like, this is you. This is everything that you can control. And then here's everything else in this circle parallel to it. And you're trying to get into that circle and do everything in there and control everyone and to make the world a better place. But you can't order people around and expect the world to change just because you want them to change. You have to focus on your circle. Because remember, in this other area here...
You just killed the vibe.
What?
I'm talking. I think I have the broken mic. No, there we go. I love when you come out, not to cut this off at all. You always come with such wisdom and everything else, and whatever you say resonates at like something I'm going through at this time of my life, not related to the shelter. And I'm like, damn, Jen's speaking truth again.
But that's what it is. Because
like I've been having my focus on other things, or like trying to control things I can't control, or like
you will lose your mind trying to control what you can't control.
Mind.
Yeah,
and that's fully transparent on this podcast right now.
But here's what I'll say right here. Okay, so you have your circle, and then to your right is this other circle of all these other people doing other things you want to change, and you can guide them, and you can do whatever you can in your control to influence them and say, what can I do to help you? But God has this circle around both of these circles. So everybody's circle is in God's circle. And at some point you have to say, God, you got this. Let me focus on my circle. You've got the other circles. I'm going to do the very best I can in my circle. And in our circle, it took 4.5 years to change this pound. Now think about that for a moment. It's a rural pound in the middle of the nowhere with a very good city that has no money. One of the poorest cities in Kansas, okay? So we went in screaming and shouting, shame on you. You're killing all these dogs. Why does nobody care? Is that fair? Did we approach this right to say nobody cared when there was no money within that city? Now, that's being broad and generous, right? Okay, because there's always two sides to every story. But could we have taken a different approach? And maybe, yeah, but everything has a lesson behind tragedies. You know, there's blessings everywhere, and everything, it just depends on how you look at it. And so that's kind of the takeaway of this pound, because if we can do it where there was no money, when nobody cared and nobody knew how to change it, and everyone said you'll never change it, they were right. We didn't change it that first year. We screamed, we shouted, we offered to do everything we could, and then they let us in. And so what we do, we volunteered for 4 years. We took care of every single animal for 4 years there. Not one single animal died for space. Not one animal in Miami County, Paola, or Osawatomie was euthanized for space, when it was previously all kill. And it's like, if we can do it, that means everywhere can do it. Because the only reason that we were able to do it is because everybody from outside Osawatomie and the ones that cared inside Osawatomie said, these aren't your dogs. These are God's dogs. These are God's cats. These are God's forgotten animals that we can all come together and contribute whatever we can, whenever we can, and a little bit, little tiny bits every single day. Steps towards change. That's what makes lasting impact. And that's how we took this forgotten pound and we're gonna change the world and show them how to run a shelter and how to build. And faith is believing when nobody else says it's possible, and you just keep going and you block out the people on your team, the people that love you the most and try to protect you the most, and say, go another path. And you say, this is the only path, because if we go another way, nobody else will go this way. And then what happens to the animals? And that really kind of does lead to our next big leap of faith, which is Wichita.
We don't even have to ask the follow-up questions. You just lead yourself into them.
And just keep talking.
We just sit here and listen.
Just think of this as like editing this podcast, because Jen just talks and it's so easy for me.
It's almost like a therapy session that we just record for Jen.
I'm
we
all
just sit
for
here and
it.
listen as therapists, and then how did that make you feel, Jen?
I don't know. The feeling part of it, it's funny because I just was talking with a friend that I haven't seen him in 14 years. I saw him today. So he flew in. He does child trafficking defense. And so he's advocating for very, very hard issues where it can be soul crushing. And it flipped to where, he's like, well, kind of think about what you do, where you can witness hundreds and thousands of animals be put to sleep. And, he said you compartmentalize it. You have to take that step away back because you cannot take on the whole world's pain. And again, that goes back to looking at your circles. What's in my circle to control? And he said, I have a purpose, I have a role, and I know what I'm doing is making a difference within that purpose. So knowing your purpose, whether it's fostering, whether it's taking a dog on a date, hospice fostering, what a beautiful thing to know that your little impact has such a phenomenal impact in the larger picture that only God sees. And we recently submitted an RFP response for the Wichita Animal Shelter to put a bid in to take control over it, because I 100% believe that not one animal should ever die for space. I don't care how many animals come in. I think it's about 10,000 animals a year. But with the right networking, with proactive networking, with the right outreach, with rescue connections, and when you have the faith to know that you're just going all in and you're saying community, we've got I recognize some names on there from Wichita. The most amazing people are in this world, and they are drawn to you. Good attracts good. The people want to help in Wichita. Let them in. Let them in to volunteer. Let them in to take the photos, to walk them, to say, we will be this change. Do not let police run a shelter. Police should never run a shelter. They should be in the field. Let them in the field. That makes sense. Yes. Let the people who know how to care and love these animals, that will get up at 3 a.m. every day, that will sacrifice every minute of their life and soul just to ensure that one single animal knows a moment of love. Because sometimes we have seen over the past 5 years, it is only a moment. Yeah. And those moments are everything. And the only thing you leave in this life with is love. So how you impact when you find your purpose, freaking go all in and fail every day, every which way, and I'm going to swear, fucking proud of your failures.
Now we have to put explicit.
I'm okay with that. Failures lead you to success. And I will say that all the time. Be proud of your failures, because that is what you grow from. It really is. And I would never be where I am or who I am today if I didn't fail every single step along the way. We had a meeting with our managers the other day, and I didn't share with them. I was a terrible leader when I first started as a lawyer too. You got to learn somewhere. You have to dive in the deep end and throw yourself all in.
Kingston's awake. Let's
okay, I'm going to stop with my hands.
Thank you.
But that's the whole thing. As long as you're willing to learn from the process. I really tried. It lasted about a second. He's still going. But, it's, and that's what I say. We are a shelter that also believes in transparency. So transparency in our failures with respect to how we handle the dogs, with respect to how we've done fosters and adoptions, because we want other rescues to learn that it is okay to screw up along the way. And also, a lot of 2024 is going to be geared toward changing into a growth mindset. What are we doing right now, and how can we do it better to keep changing and elevating the standard of rescue and shelter care?
And that's so hard to do because it's admitting faults.
Oh, it's so hard.
Or like areas that you're lacking in. Not a lot of people want to sit down and be like, growth comes from obviously an area of lack and uncomfortable of sitting down and recognizing those. And it is going to be hard, but the other side's going to be beautiful.
I will say my biggest failures came from me being in my comfort zone. And when you're in your comfort zone, you assume things, and change is hard, change is scary, and that's why I think you have that resistance initially to Wichita. I don't think there's anyone better to run it than us. I don't.
So with Wichita, with all of that said, what is the first step in 2024?
So they should be making a decision in February of 2024. I don't know if they're going to request oral presentations or any type of negotiation and so forth. I've obviously never been through this process with a rescue. I've responded to RFPs as a lawyer in different contexts, but it really depends on their decision-making team and what they want to do. I will say our RFP was 118 pages, and it was put together by a phenomenal group, and it's something to be incredibly proud of. I wish we could find a way to share it online. We didn't do it at first intentionally because there are obviously other people putting a bid in. So it's special.
Can you explain to listeners that might not know what an RFP is?
Yeah, so an RFP is a request for a proposal, and essentially they're putting out a bid and saying, I want to hire a contractor to take over Wichita Animal Shelter. Now I think my mic is broke.
Good thing Santa brought new ones.
I know. Santa's great. Okay, now it's on. So it's a request for a proposal to hire on a contractor to take care of the animals at Wichita Animal Shelter. So 2 or 3 or 4 parties may submit a response, and they ask, I think there were like 68 questions in there regarding how would you handle cleaning, how would you handle aggressive dogs, what are your safety protocols, what is the staffing, what is the budget. So 1 million different things have to go into consideration with basically saying, how would you run this shelter, within what budget would you have, the timeline that you would do it, and would you meet the capacity of care within. Basically they're saying they want 25% of the kennels left open so animal control can continually bring animals in. Funny side note of that is that they have some exotic animals. So they do take in some hamsters and snakes, and I think they even took in a goat and a chicken.
Those are not the exotic animals. I thought you were about to say like monkeys, like chameleons.
I mean, yeah, that too, but yeah.
Hamster is exotic.
Okay, that might have been not the best first example, but I meant not a dog and a cat. But I think they did. Yeah, whatever.
I will always call you out.
I don't know.
So exotic,
okay,
a hamster.
Let me preface
Do they
this
exist
too,
in nature?
Is that I get up very, very early, and 7 o'clock is so late at night for me that I go pretty brain dead. So however this conversation goes, I have no responsibility for what comes out of my mouth because it's like my...
You're doing
1 a.m. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I have a question, though.
Go for it.
About Wichita. So a few episodes ago, we talked about them not being labeled as a kill shelter because they were under the 10%.
Yeah.
Have they surpassed that? And
So
are they now labeled that?
they are still not labeled a kill shelter. They are at about 8.8%. And that is because Beauties was still helping up until June. They were still pulling animals. And so it's looked at from January to December. We were still able to help until October. I will share the month of October, November, and December, the youth rate for dogs was close to 30% for each month. So let's say 100 dogs came in, 30 of them were killed. On the year, I think it's close to 700 dogs were euthanized. And you're talking dogs, that is not including dogs that is including adoptable dogs, which meant they could have and should have been available for a rescue to pull. The rescues have stopped pulling. We are pulling dogs through other rescues. Everybody knows this. They watch our Facebook page. Hello. It's not a secret. It's not illegal. It's actually very, very sad, in my opinion, that we don't have access to see the photos, to know the animals that are there. We have begged to let us in. It is a game of egos and pride, which is stupid when it comes to saving lives. And that is very, very real in animal rescue. There's a lot of personal reasons that people join rescues that sometimes aren't altruistic to the mission. And all I can say is I go back to my circle. What can I do in my circle? I can't change KHS. I can't change the people that run Wichita Animal Shelter. But what could we do as Always and Forever? We put a response in to an RFP to say, we can't change them, but we are willing to be the ones to go in and change your shelter if you let us. And that's a huge, huge commitment and statement to say. So we are praying that if it's not us, that it's a trusted rescue that gets an opportunity to do it, because the two parties that are doing it right now, the animals are dying, and there is no other way to sugarcoat it or say it. It is a kill shelter. Animals are dying there, and it is solely for space. On to a sad subject.
No, we always do.
Yeah.
Well, because it's the truth. It's
is.
what you and Always and Forever deals with day in and day out. So you can't shy away and not talk about it when it's reality.
And I think that's a good part, too, of finding balance. You know, it really is what you focus on. Wichita is horrible. Wichita is horrible. Could I be there right now the way that it's run, being a kennel staff? No. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it. And they're having the same problem, too. Oh, little puppy's waking up.
Speaking of Wichita, didn't he come from there?
He sure did. I think he was left in a basket or a bag outside. So this little dude and 3 others were. So he's 4 pounds. He looks bigger than he is on camera.
He might be 5.
Oh, he's 5.
He's tiny.
He's super
He's
tiny.
been eating.
But that's the kind of thing, too. I look at my Z, and ZZ was a KHS reject, and she was going to be euthanized. And she is one of the most loving little pit bulls out there. And you look at our red barn right now and the gray barn, and it's filled with pit bulls. It is wonderful ones. Some obviously selective with issues, but it's mostly pit bulls. And that's actually not the case of the animals that they are. I did it again. That they are killing just because of numbers. That was pretty good, but it didn't make the mic, so you don't get to count as funny. That I don't even know what I was saying anymore. So,
Hey, them pit bulls.
oh yeah,
Totally worth it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sharing with a friend the other day. I didn't even know the breed in any sense up until this rescue too. So there's fear of the breed. That's okay. You know, everybody has their fears, but give them a chance. They're wonderful, and purebreds need rescue too. So there is huge breeding issue with Wichita. And we've shared Hojo's story, and there's another dog, Seymour, who's related to him. Any breed you want, they're out there.
Well, I just need to chime in about the breeding, because I started doing research on him of like the Boston Terrier Chihuahua mix. It's a designer mix.
Ooh.
If you do research on it, that people are often sought after for the characteristics and size and the mix between the two breeds. And I'm like, no, it's still a mutt.
Yeah, I always find it funny when someone's like, I want a purebred doodle.
Like,
well, do you know what a doodle
it's
is?
still a mix. Like,
Yeah.
it's still a mutt. So,
Yeah.
like, when I looked that up, I'm like, oh, a designer mix.
Yeah.
Ooh, how
Fancy.
elegant of me to foster one.
You know, we're a fancy rescue.
But I just laugh because people can put a label on whatever they want
Yeah.
to make it more appeasing to that audience. Well, you ramble, so I'm just going to go into the next thing.
All right, where are we at?
I don't know, but I want
Okay.
to ask because it's our recap and review.
Okay.
You talked about the Osawatomie Pound,
Yeah.
like how fantastic that was. Outside of that, top 1 to 2 moments for the shelter in 2023.
So many. 1 to 2 moments. Well, what strikes me is what I shared on the last one was, you know, the failures with our CUP led to the success of another friend's CUP. And you never see the ripple effects of your actions in so many ways. Like, I think when you die, you have this, here I'm going to go off spiritually again. When you pass and you leave this life continues. Death doesn't just end your life. It just continues in a different form. And if I didn't truly believe that, I could never do what I do right now, because we have so many losses when it comes to animals, and we've had good friends pass with Danielle and David, where they were a huge part of our rescue, and we were forced to say goodbye unexpectedly. But when you see your struggles and your trials and your frustration and everything that you thought you poured your heart and soul into with the homestead and the conditional use permit, and you see your struggles turn into a benefit and a blessing for someone else, like Regina's rescue, that's a really special moment, because you don't get to see that until your life ends and you're looking at the bigger picture, because that's what God sees. You're never going to see that. So I love the little glimpses God gives you to say, I got you. There is more to this story than just what you see. And so kind of fun facts. And that's why I love this podcast, because you guys give the opportunity for others that don't have the platform or voice or the morning videos like I do, that do the grunt, the grind, the exhausting work behind the scenes. And sometimes I will say some of them are a little boring, but
they are educational.
Educational and necessary.
Informative.
They are so informative. And I'm seriously offended. My podcast was not the top one that you listed. You listed five others.
Let's pull you in here. Get your face in camera.
You guys too.
You were just speaking facts about what our top listened to podcast was. I did. Who did that?
My cat.
I'll bring it up.
It's on you now.
Wait, hold on. No, I need time. Keep talking. I'm bringing it up right now.
Okay, so Sai's going to research our top listened to podcast, but Jen was very offended before we started when she was talking about them. And she's like, it's not me.
So the top episodes, community events and volunteering. Shout out to Miranda. It's Miranda and Shelby. Little Gray Barn. Third was A Look Inside, Always and Forever, dog intake. Shout out to Craig. Osawatomie Pound.
That was a very entertaining and chaotic episode of the stories that they shared of the cats and the chase and everything else. Yeah, people really enjoyed that one.
This one's yours. This one came in fifth. Recap and addressing concerns from conditional permit.
I'm so proud of you. Top 5.
Top 5. Crap, I'm on the bottom of the 5. I don't want to be bottom 5. Forget it.
So those were the top episodes of 2023.
Well, that's just disappointing.
Wait, I love that I started this episode joking about a Wrapped, and she actually has one from Buzzsprout.
I do. Why would I not?
What else? What other stats do we have?
They emailed me today. Well, we are in 32 countries.
Okay.
United States, Germany, Australia, Canada, and United Kingdom.
Australia.
Yeah. And we have a whole bunch. We have a whole bunch of listeners or viewers from the West Coast and the East Coast on there right now. So huge for Always.
What else is on there?
Well, if you check your emails, you would know.
Don't you dare.
This is huge for the doggone truth about rescues. I can't wait for 2024.
Yeah. 2024 will be a good year.
We should submit or have people submit episodes they want to hear, because we've covered the basics at this point. I think of intake, what is volunteering, what is cost, and all that stuff of what do people want to know about rescue?
Yeah, we got to get Michaela on and talk
comments.
about dog intros and things like that. Let's talk about 2024.
Okay.
Where do we see ourselves? We did start a newsletter.
I got it. You can cuddle.
Thanks to April for kicking that off again. We got a really cool team behind that. And so we'll have a monthly newsletter. If you haven't seen or received our year-end newsletter, look on our website. It's there. You can sign up for that. 2024, we are going to have a brand new building in Osawatomie. And we hope to get that started in Q2. And we have to raise about $700,000 for that. So
What are we at?
I think we're at 150 right now.
Okay.
So it's a start. You have to start somewhere. And you can feel like that's daunting, or you can say, hey, at one point when we were looking to purchase the land was ironically about $700,000 too. And we came together and did it in kind of the similar timeline, different circumstances. But there's so many exciting things. Wichita is in God's hands right now, whether or not we go there. And, we take it day by day. I was just talking to someone on the way here, and I said, they could be reading our RFP right now, the response. And, that's when you have those moments, you kind of wonder what God's plan is. And, I try to not question it, because I would never have expected my life to be where it is right now. And that kind of goes back to when I see a friend from law school, when you're just a 25-year-old kid and you think you're just, figuring out life, and then life takes you down a path you would have never expected. And you go with it. You go where your heart calls you to go. And if you're open enough to listen to your heart, and you're lucky enough to have people around you who believe in you and who hang with you through the really, really hard times, because anything that is truly worth doing is never going to be easy.
No,
but
this puppy is not easy.
Having the faith to know that it really, truly does all work out. And that's something that I'm kind of a broken record. Judy's really good at saying that too. It really does all work out, even when you think it's not going to.
No, it only doesn't work out when you expected a different outcome.
Yeah, but it's still working out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only when you expect that it needs to end a certain way, but don't realize the gift in the result.
Yep. And it's choosing to think that everything is working for you and not against you. If you've got that attitude that everything's working against you, hell yeah, it will. And you will feel it, and the world will crush in on you. But if you think that it's working for you, and you look around and you see all the good that is there. We are surrounded by so many amazing people, and how lucky are we to wake up every day and be surrounded by animals that just want your love. I mean, your worst possible day, you wake up and everybody loves you. Like, what a great environment. So you take your worst day and you roll your lazy, exhausted body out of bed, and you're greeted with love. So it's the bad days are always good when there's animals.
Oh, I just need to Amanda, that was a great comment. For the new year, skip joining a gym, just use the treadmills in the new year, instead walk a dog.
Skip the gym.
You don't need to get a gym membership. Just sign up to volunteer for Always and Forever. That fantastic recommendation.
Absolutely.
Save the money. Don't join the gym. Come out, walk some dogs.
Start a walking club.
How many miles? When I was at Little Gray Barn, I think it was at least 5+ miles a day.
Yeah, we did a challenge, too, to our staff to get 50 miles in a month, and then I would give you a $100 gift card.
Yeah.
And everybody hit 50 miles. That was impressive. So, yeah.
You can easily. And get the therapy of a dog.
It's so good for you. It's so good for the animals, and they need you. So, I mean, that's the cutest little puppy sitting right there that just yawned into the camera.
The puppy.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know where 2024 is going to lead us, but I have enough faith to know that God's got a plan.
Before we finish with 2024, biggest lesson learned in 2023?
You know, it's still
like from previous years, because I know it's been probably like the same lesson over and over again in different areas. But what was very different in 2023 for you?
Probably the public failure. I mean, blatant public failure of not getting our conditional use permit approved and having very adamant enemies. And I never thought I would have an enemy, and I still don't think I do. But we have people that have called the state on us numerous times. Nothing was founded. We've passed everything. Very intentional, mean-spiritedness. I hadn't encountered that before. I'm not just talking about that situation, but certain situations in Wichita too. How do you deal with people that, and again, I still go back to those circles. I think that's really what this year is knowing that all I can control is me, and all I can control is my response to people that don't value the life of animals, where they are inventory, where they are killed when we beg to save them. And how do you stomach that? How do you stomach you tagging a dog and they killing it anyways? So how do you stomach the public failures, the scrutiny, the losing donors because they question your choices and your motives? That's tough too. How do you stomach the criticism that you get personally for taking a stance to say freedom of speech matters, and that you should always have the right to say what the truth is, what your truth is, and when animals don't have a voice, speaking up and being their voice. It's learning to say we did the best we could at the time that we made that decision, and I think everyone should know as well, this isn't a one-person show. This isn't Jen saying, do this, Jen do that. Now,
For the longest time, you really didn't show your face or talk.
No.
And look at you now.
Look at you now.
I know, but we have a 6-person incredible board with over decades of experience to where every situation is contemplated, debated, and truly assessed to say what is in the best interest of the animals, our staff. I can't tell you how blessed we are to have such amazing staff and team members and volunteers. The people are what make Always and Forever special. That's the bottom line. I'll say it every day.
What are the chances we can get the board on a podcast?
Oh. Yeah.
That's part of a rescue.
Yeah, so you've got to get the phone call in because you've got a couple people that are remote still.
Okay.
So you've got to. That should be your 2024 goal.
So our 2024 goal is to make this more like you're on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
I recently deleted it because I've been spending way too much time
TikTok
on it.
sucks your life away.
I was like,
just trying to
ooh, I need a break from TikTok in December.
Yeah.
But anyways, how some people have like their podcast is so great on there.
Yeah.
Just like the
I love it. Yeah, there's
not
like 2
this
seconds
setup
quick.
of like 3 people
Little
trying to fit into
hurtful.
a screen
Yeah.
of like the multiple camera
Yeah.
angle with like the nice
Yeah.
mics and like
Well, you've
the
got nice mics.
60s
We just got to
no,
do
we
the
do
cameras.
the cameras and like the 60-second clips.
Yes. Yeah.
That we can like put on TikTok of just
Yeah.
like little snippets
Absolutely.
about the
I think I love
podcast.
that.
Like New Heights.
Like New Heights.
Yeah.
I hate that the person I think of right now is Nick, the old bachelor. I'm
See, I
sure
think
he
I-
doesn't show up on yours.
I like the Sacred Thomas podcast. It's like motivational stuff. I don't know.
Right,
what it
but either
is.
way,
Yeah.
you know exactly what
Yep.
I'm talking about. The
Yep.
podcasts that are on TikTok that
Yeah.
then lead people to the podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
In 2024, I would like to get to that level with this podcast.
Okay, you're doing it. No, it's not you would like to. It's that you are.
In
That's what you
2024,
have to
we will
say.
get to
We
that
will.
level.
Speak into existence.
That's exactly
Yes.
right. Nothing would exist unless you affirmatively say you're going to do it.
So that means we have to like look ready.
No,
to
I
go
feel like
live.
sweatshirts keep it real. Why? I'm always in a sweatshirt. And
Don't
a hat.
have me. No, that's not.
No,
what
when
we're
you
doing.
first were like, "We're going live," and I'm like, "Great, today was the day I
They
didn't
don't
wash
mind.
my hair."
What are our audience wearing? I feel like nobody dresses up to watch it. So why would you dress up to be in it?
No.
Okay,
I'm not
we'll talk
dressing
about
up.
that. I love that goal. That's a great goal.
That's a good goal for
super,
us.
super important. Yeah.
But I want to go back to your comment about like having villains for the first
Yeah,
time in your
yeah.
life. There's no good Disney. Ooh, I
It
broke
was
my
you,
mic.
not me.
There's no good Disney movie and fairy tale without a villain that you have to overcome.
Yeah. I mean, that's so.
Like no one would watch the movie and no one would pay attention if there wasn't a conflict.
So
That
true.
needed a resolution.
And I always say, when it came to Yankee Bit Lane, who we call Cranky Bit Lane now,
Where's the pup?
they are the ones that
had it. Oh God, we didn't lose the puppy.
creating the characters in the movie. Oh, there, right there.
Got it.
Okay. Oh, did she poop? He poop? He pooped again?
On my bathmat. Unless that was all your
Why
bathroom
did you
mat.
shut the door? He's tiny.
Okay, pause.
She can't go to the bathroom on a live
The puppy
Facebook.
is trained on pee mats. The 2 mats in my bathroom are white. And he has now confused my bath mats for potty mats.
He is going in the bathroom.
and
So
he's literally going into the bathroom because Sai leaves the door open and uses my bath mats.
he's super cute, though. You can't be mad at him.
But now he's up, and now Jen gets to witness the chaos of Kingston
super cute.
and Anthony. My one friend at work was like, "Can you rename him Sean so you have Sean Kingston?"
That would be funny.
And I said, "I can't do that. One of my ex's name is Sean."
Okay, well then that doesn't work. But if you keep him, that would be funny.
I'm like, no, I can't do it. So either way, so now both mats are probably going to get thrown away.
Yeah, they're fine. Just watch
So
them.
back to the villains, Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was thinking earlier when you were talking about the Osawatomie Pound and that whole journey that you've gone through, how great of a reality TV show it would have been that I would have tuned into and watched
Yeah.
of that whole journey. And have you ever considered that of like pitching for like funding sponsorships of like
How? Yeah.
follow our
absolutely.
journey of
I mean,
Always
I
and
think
Forever?
that we are a movie, we are a story, we are 100% a reality TV show. One of the things, like, we've had raccoons stuck in trucks and we've
Yes.
surrounded people. Like, we've had adventures of 5 dogs getting out, everybody running the neighborhood and down the pasture. And yes, Lily, when we very first opened, there's so many stories and adventures. And we're 100% open to that. And what I would say is the difference between like pit bulls and parolees and us is that what we focus on.
So much.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, I don't even watch that show, and I already know.
I don't watch it either.
I think there's so many significant things that are only, like, pertinent to, I don't even know if that's the right word. I'm trying to sound smart. To Always and Forever. Yeah. That other shelters do not have. Like, when I am talking and taking Anthony, the little foster puppy, to the brewery, and I'm like, yeah, their adoptions are free. You just have to get approved. And, like, telling them more. I'm like, if you ever want to foster, they like bring all of the supplies. Like, I asked to have him, and I got 2 crates, beds, foods, everything, like puppy mats. Like, what Always and Forever provides for the people that want to put effort and time into it is like no other shelter.
Yeah.
And it blows people's mind when I tell them those things.
And that's because I will tell you, every single person loves them like their own. Yeah. You adored Tobin. You didn't even want to drop him off at the shelter tonight. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Sai hasn't cried yet on this episode. I'm kidding. But Sai, I think, because you haven't really said much this episode and I want to cut Jen off, your 2023 in review, like, I think you have learned so much through the shelter this year.
I've grown to advocate for the dogs that can't speak, you know. Getting emotional because I hate that I had to drop off Tobin tonight.
Oh, now's your time to pitch.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's a part of my family.
No.
Why did you have to drop him off? Because we all know you wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to tell the whole world I'm about to be leaving for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Edit that part out. Somebody will be at her house with a security camera and a gun.
I mean, there is going to be people at your house, but you and Lex are going for a volleyball trip.
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll be gone for 2 weeks.
And your house watcher does not ready to watch a dog.
No.
Yes.
And so it was really hard for me to drop him off because I hate that he's been in a home doing really, really well. Bother us. He just chills. And then for me to have him go back, not that he's not loved at Little Gray Barn, it's just the fact of him being somewhere where it's not a home, his own couch, where he can roam freely, you know? It's just different for me. I don't know. Okay, I'm crying, so next subject.
Yeah, it didn't take long. No, I really want to acknowledge how much, like, you have really invested and grown within this last year. Because I think in 2022, when we started the podcast and, like, we were at Little Gray Barn as, like, walkers and everything else, like, we were still on the outside of the circle, but, like, starting to get into the circle. But I think within 2023, we've really invested ourselves into the circle of Always and Forever, and it changes who you are.
Yeah, it does. Lexi and I were talking about this when we took Tobin to see the Christmas lights this past weekend. Last year, we had McCoy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
McCoy did the Christmas lights with us, and we were just talking about that. But this past weekend, when we took Tobin for our ride to see the Christmas lights, it's so funny that he hopped in the front seat and he put the kids in the back seat. It's like my kids fighting over the front seat, but Tobin won, you know? And so anyways, the kids let it go. We need someone out there who works at home, or, you know, Tobin does really well throughout the day. Jen, can you go into his health?
Yeah, so he has DM, and I don't know how that's what the term is, but essentially he's going to lose his ability to walk and stand.
Where's our med team at?
Well, we all watched that episode.
Sorry, I was not laughing about the DM. I was laughing at the puppy parkouring into Kingston's bed in the hallway. It was really bad timing. Anyways.
No, anybody that knows what DM or has had a dog that has struggled with it, he will lose his ability to walk and stand, and it's going to be incredibly painful. It's a very, very hard disease to watch. And to take a dog into your home like that and know that this might be his last Christmas and that you gave him that time, that is what's special. It's the moments of love that they feel, not he knows that you can't help you, that you're not abandoning him, and he is going into love, and that's the whole thing. It's just giving what you can when you can, and that is so, so valued and so, so special. It really, really is. And that you had that moment with McCoy and Tobin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can reflect back on that with McCoy now and know.
I feel like for me, I've grown as this dog lover, as this, you know.
Oh, yeah. I've
Yes.
watched that from 2018 when you
Yes.
first came to the farm. And there was just, oh, look, there's Bailey and Lily. it would totally, like a 180 sigh. Like,
But you know what? It's like, I'd rather deal with dogs than people.
Welcome.
Who did I just say that? I said the animals, the dogs are the easy part. It's the people that's
Yes.
the hardest part of rescue. It
Like,
truly is.
If I can surround myself with dogs every day, I will be Gucci.
Yeah. I love the
Yes.
cats now, too. Even the one that scratched my face.
I was
have
gonna
a
say.
scratch across my face from B. My cat got me. But that's okay. I love her. She's
Sheila's
crazy.
turn.
Oh, no, I don't share.
Yeah, you do.
No, that's why I'm in therapy.
Oh, I guess you guys are my therapy.
Yeah, we're your therapy.
So I would say 2023 is a year of...
No, I'm ready to share
Share it.
because you
Share
were
it. Come
stalling,
on.
and I thought about it. 2023 was my year to restart with dogs because after Bailey passed and Thanksgiving in 2022, I thought I was not going to have a dog for a long time, and it was going to take some time away. But then, being with Always and Forever and working and doing the podcast, obviously I could not step away from dogs. And then Kingston came into my life and was my first foster fail. And now I'm currently fostering a 8-week-old puppy, which Kingston is tolerating, and I'm learning how to have
Where is the
It's around
puppy?
here somewhere.
Probably in the bathroom.
He's right there.
Okay.
Because I literally, for the longest time with Bailey and Lily, had said I would not have dogs after
Yeah,
them.
you did.
Because I didn't know what I would do without them. And that was like the end of that chapter, would not be open to it. Like they were my soul dog. Like they were my life dogs. So with Always and Forever and just being, it showed me just always have the open heart in 2023. And like whatever comes your way, it's okay to start a new chapter.
And it's okay
open your door.
to love again.
Yes.
And that doesn't take away the love from
No.
the other animals, but it helps soften the ache and the pain of missing them, which is still there every day.
Yes.
I look to the couch. I don't know where Libby is. I miss her.
Yeah, and we
do.
both went through that loss in 2022, and just with this year, I think, like especially with the puppy, I'm like, I know Lily would have loved this puppy.
Yeah.
Kingston.
Lily was such a flirt. Every time Lily
my
would
God.
come to the barn, she'd flirt with all the boys, and then she'd flirt with the girls, and then she'd
But
run
even
around.
just like having them and like getting those thoughts and memories and
Yeah.
just thinking about Bailey and Lily again and like different aspects of just
Yeah.
like Lily would have loved this, and just like it makes them feel still a part of my life
Yeah.
in some certain way. So yeah, I don't know.
They were
just-
every part of Always and Forever when we started. Like they went
everybody
to every
that comes
parade.
in here.
Yeah.
I first say to them, I'm like, well, I was Bailey and Lily's mom for like the podcast, and they're
Yeah.
like, I thought so.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna know my dogs.
They were
before
always
you
there.
know
I
me."
would steal them. I was always looking forward to you going on
Yes.
vacation.
But yeah, so
I
I
like
would say
that.
that's my lesson for
New
20.
beginnings.
Just learning to have an open heart again.
Yeah, I just shared the other day I lost 5 personal pets
Yes.
in 2022. Libby and Charlotte were the hardest. And you don't get over them.
No.
You never get over a loss of a person or an animal, but you learn to live with it, and you learn to live. Sometimes you have to learn to live again through it. But when you stop living, you might as well just die. I mean, you've got to try, no matter how hard it is, and you got to keep going. And that's why I said I am so blessed, even on my very worst days, to wake up and have every dog not know what happened yesterday. It's like they forget, or they don't forget. I don't know what they do, but they are such beautiful reminders. And I know I say it on every post, and I know I say it all the time, but they greet each day with love and joy, and what an incredible way. And that's what I would love to carry into 2024, is just to greet each day with love and joy, and have that be an attitude of gratitude all the time, because there's so much to be grateful for. And that's what I'll say with you guys with this podcast. This wouldn't exist if you didn't have the faith to try. It's so overwhelming and scary, like all this equipment and stuff. I don't even know what you're doing with that.
we had
Hey,
no idea.
I'm a pro at taking different tracks and putting them all together.
You guys
now.
are.
Oh my
you are.
gosh.
And listen to our very first one. There's background music.
But
There's
don't.
pee. There's dogs barking. There's literally she's sitting in urine. Like we didn't know what we were doing, but we had to start it to get to where we are. It's a beautiful thing to fail. It really is. And we get better in everything we do as long as we never stop trying.
Do we have questions or any comments coming in?
No.
No, they're
But
just so
Megan made a comment that said Jen and her words that are perfect.
I know.
Truly.
No, seriously, when you share, like I'm just listening, taking it all in, like my heart is like just
Because they're life lessons. They're not
Yeah.
just like pertaining to rescue. Like words that you are saying right now, anybody could listen to and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear towards like a situation at work or like in my relationship.
Well, that's what
It's just very...
I would hope, because
In a different life, you were a preacher or a priest or something.
Well, speaking of that, it's like Jen, let me tell you
I
when
am. I would like you to know that I got internet ordained. I think I'm Reverend Dulski.
So you're doing weddings.
Reverend Dulski. I married my best friend
Wait, what?
like 20 years ago. When was it? When did she get married? Debbie, when did you get married? I don't know. 10
Do you have
years
to
ago.
renew this?
Yeah, I still feel like I get to keep the title, right?
so you're Pastor Dulski?
No, Reverend. I got the
You're
Reverend.
a reverend?
Yeah, but it was only on the internet, and I think it was like $20. So it was the church of the internet.
$20?
Yeah, but this was back in like 2013 when it just became.
I am
a thing.
shook. I was joking.
You can call me Reverend if you want. I'm all right with that. I can't share anything that I didn't live through. That's the whole thing. And if what I lived through, even the very worst parts of my life, can help someone else, then again, it just gives you a little bit more of a purpose. This is the cutest dog ever. Ever. I think that's all I got because it's super late.
Oh my God, we're almost at an hour. Let's wrap up.
Goodbye.
No,
Oh.
we have two things that we always end an episode with.
Foster puppy.
Anthony's going to be our foster cover.
He's going to be adopted before
Yeah,
then.
He will. That's
Yeah,
not
okay,
too
yep.
late.
So
Forget
we need
Tobin,
a new
apparently.
Or the
dog.
one before.
Pick a dog for
most
the
in
cover.
need, Jen.
You know what I want to do? I want to do Mama Disney, who
Oh, I just saw all of her puppies were adopted, but she's still there.
All 7 of her puppies got in foster homes.
Or foster, sorry.
So she's the most gentle, beautiful, tubby pity. And her puppies were born in the shelter. She's never been
Really?
outside. So she has fear of being outside, fear of getting in a car. And she's so gentle and loving. And the puppies got scooped up to foster, but this big pity didn't. She's just wonderful. So Mama Disney, look her up. Let's find her a home. You won't regret it. She's scared at first, but once she trusts you, man, she's going to steal your heart. Sai, you would love her.
I haven't seen
Love her. Big
so
black
she'll be
pity.
our foster
So
dog
sweet.
or our cover dog for foster or adoption. And then last pitch on Anthony.
He's got 2 other siblings that need a home
Got
too.
2 other siblings. He is fantastic and full-blown puppy.
And he poops in the bathroom.
On the rug.
2 rugs.
On pee pads or my rug that is white in the bathroom. He takes himself there. But no, he is a really good puppy.
Checked out. I got tired.
Sai's done.
Okay.
Or Jen's done. Sai, will you close this out? That's all.
We are wrapping up 2023 with our last episode. Jen, thank you for joining us this evening. And as always, it's never too late for a happily ever after.